Lecture 9, Buddhism into the Future. In contrast to all other faiths, Buddhism is unique among religions or philosophical systems, as it forbids violence in its name, emphasizes compassion, provides a clear path for spiritual and personal development, and teaches us to take full responsibility for our actions, leaves no room for blind faith or unthinking worship, and is compatible with modern science, welcoming questions and investigations into its own teachings. The Buddha advised that we should not believe him unquestionably, but rather to consider and explore the teachings and then rely on our own experience. This neo-scientific approach was noticed by Albert Einstein in the 1930s, who said, "The religion of the future will be a cosmic religion. It should transcend a personal God and avoid dogmas and theology. Covering both natural and spiritual, it should be based on a religious sense arising from the experience of all things, natural and spiritual, and a meaningful unity." Buddhism, Einstein said, answers this description. If there is any religion that would cope with modern scientific needs, it would be Buddhism. The influential British historian A.J. Toynbee said, "The coming of Buddhism to the West may prove to be the most important event in the 20th century." Perhaps he was off by 1 or 2 centuries, as surely the impact from the Dharma having come west has hardly climaxed. The European Buddhist Union estimates that there are between 1 and 3 million Buddhists throughout Europe, and most of the growth has been in the past 15 years. Ethnic Americans make up about half of U.S. Buddhists, while convert Buddhists range anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million. Yet a great deal of the impact that Buddhism is having in the Western world is not by those who identify as Buddhist, so much as by the vast numbers of people from other faiths who have taken on some of the practices of Buddhism, whether it be sitting meditation or other forms of Buddhist mindfulness training. While Buddhism may be among the fastest growing religions in the United States, with adherents estimated in the several millions, most members of the 2,000 or so American Buddhist centers are 45 years or over. This aging of the Buddhist scene has brought about a new wave of American Buddhism, stripped of its Asian ethnic envelope and removed from the Eastern religion section of bookstores. Noah Levine, author of Against the Stream, a Buddhist manual for spiritual revolutionaries, and Dharma Punks, has grown a 1,000-member contemplative community in New York City. David Nichtern, former Shambhala practitioner, has opened a practice center in New York called the Om Yoga Center, and has even started a new music label called Dharma Moon. Levine and Nichtern and others are working to develop a more contemporary and secular Buddhist tradition focused strictly on the practical benefits of meditation and cultivating compassion. Adorned or not by its Asian cultural form, how is it possible for a 2,500-year-old philosophy, which began 500 years before Christ and 1,000 years before Islam, to be relevant to modern life? Buddhism's sustained appeal may, to some extent, be due to its appearance as a rational philosophy of self-determination that is free from any notion of a Godhead or absolute. Buddhist values and ethics, loving kindness, compassion, non-duality, may be particularly attractive at a time of rampant materialism, consumerism, environmental devastation, terrorism, and war. It's fair to say that at least among younger people around the world, the Dalai Lama is the most respected religious leader extant. His nonviolent leadership and the struggle for an independent Tibet has inspired a whole new generation too young to remember Gandhi or Nelson Mandela. Buddhism has been a powerful trajectory in China's history, and the Buddhist card played by China will be a key determinant of Buddhism's future. Despite the recent barren years of Marxism, Buddhism, which was introduced by Indian monks less than a century after the Buddha, has enjoyed a long, deep, and still growing relationship to China's soul. Spiritually starved, I have recently seen Chinese students flocking to the newly remodeled Buddhist temples in the big cities of the South. Buddhism has again become the closest thing to a state faith, despite the official contempt for all religion. The old understanding of what is meant by suffering in Buddhism is also getting clarified by a new generation of practitioners. Like so many things in Buddhism, suffering isn't bad or good, but sometimes both or neither. To suffer can also mean to withstand or sustain. Suffering doesn't necessarily mean pain. In this way, Buddhism represents both aspects of life eloquently and more accurately, not as a resolvable truth, but as something to work with daily on a real and tangible level. Finally, we don't have to worry about the future of Buddhism. In the Buddhist view, there is no past and there is no future, only the present moment. Thank you.